Hello everyone, welcome to the video. My name's Zoe and I'm an artist here on YouTube. So today's video, you may have noticed already, is in collaboration with Arrtx, who have very kindly sent these pens that I'm going to be trying to use. I absolutely love Arrtx products and I've been using them for a while. I started off using their jelly gouache set. I've used their alcohol markers. I've got their SimTap markers, the first set they released of those, and I've also last year I bought one of the smaller sets of these particular pens, so I know I'm going to like these, but this is a much bigger set. So yeah, I was very excited to try these and absolutely over the moon and so grateful. Like, I can't thank Arrtx enough for sending these to me because I've had this set in my wish list on Amazon for a really long time. And I've nearly bought it so many times. So thank you so much, Arrtx, for sending them. Like, I unbelievably happy. But anyway, getting into the markers. First things first, you can see it's got two sticker sheets there. That's because the pens they come unmarked. So part of the experience, and I've noticed from other people that have tried them out, other YouTubers, some people love this process of putting the stickers on and others hate it. I really enjoyed it. I found it really relaxing, and it gave me a good chance to really look at the colours and see what's in the set. The sticker sheets are in order to how they are presented in the box. So yeah, just got my tweezers and got going on that because they're quite tiny, these little round stickers. These are for the base of the pen, as you can see. The other stickers I put on the lids. But yeah, really enjoyable process. Wasn't the quickest thing, but didn't take as long as I thought as well. So that was really good. The packaging is great. So it's like a cardboard box. You can probably tell that from the video. And inside the box, it has these racks. So the pens, they're not all free flying about. They have got little individual holes that they go into, which is really great to keep them organised. And the box is sturdy enough that you can just keep them in it. It's not flimsy packaging at all, so it's a great storage option for long-term storage of the pens, not just for getting them to you. So that's really impressive. The one thing that I would like to see with these is a swatch sheet. I think I've kind of found that with Arrtx products is you don't tend to get a swatch sheet with the ones I've used anyway. The alcohol markers, that's the Oros, they, I believe, are the only Arrtx products that I have that came with a swatch sheet. And it's a really minor thing, because you'll see in a minute when I swatch them, I do make my own swatch cards, so it's not a big issue, but it would be nice not to have to sit there and make that and just get into the pen straight away. But it's not a major thing, it's just something that I would like to see in the box. So I'm going to flash up on the screen the descriptor from Arrtx's own website. So you can read, but I briefly go into them. So these are the anime colours. There's 60 and they're brush markers. There's no metallics. I'm so happy about that. I'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah, they're £65 on Amazon, but if you want to buy them, there's loads of links below to the various places you can get them from, so check that out. Here is my artwork. I'll talk about this in a minute, but there's a gif of the two characters, because I've been talking too long and we've got to this point already. Let's come back to the pens. These two characters are from Final Fantasy VII, and yeah, there you go, Heir of Gainsborough and Zack Fair. So yeah, I'll talk about these later, but I just wanted to say where they're from quickly while this is all flashing up on the screen. That was my original sketch. I did that on my iPad. And then I transferred it to my sketchbook. So back to the pens. Oh, there's my reference. Back to the pens. Yeah, so they're strong coverage, quick dry, waterproof, non-toxic. And the great thing about this sort of acrylic pen is that they don't need activation. They're not like your bullet tip pump action pens. They are ready to go from the offset, so there's no waiting around for ink to flow into the nib. You don't need to shake them because I don't believe there are free-flowing ink inside. I don't know how they work, but they just do. My recommendation, so normally manufacturers tell you to store most markers on their sides. These come upside down in the box, but this is what I do with them. Okay, and I found that this works the best for like just the pens in general. Is I store them on their side, and then just before I'm going to use them, I tip them up so they're inverted, so they're nib down. This helps to draw the acrylic into the tip. I've found if they stay inverted for too long, some of the pens can have a bit too much paint in them. But I've found that if you keep them on their side and then store them upright, your pens are more ready to go. I've noticed in my other sets, they're right in front of me in a rack, they are permanently on their side. I didn't keep them in their original box because I've got loads of racks on my desk which are actually full now. So I find if I take that pen straight off the rack and use it, sometimes the paint can have separated in the nib, so you get a strange, like the colours don't look right. I have found that by inverting the pen for maybe 5 minutes before use, it sorts that out. So just be mindful of that when you come to use the pens, and they'll be fine. Yeah, and as I said earlier, there's no metallic pens in this set, and for me that's brilliant. I'm not a lover of metallics. I hate it when you buy an art supply and you get like 8+ metallics in the set. Not a fan of that. I don't use them. If you do see metallics in my work, it's normally a gel pen and it's like tiny details. So yeah, I was a big fan of that. Like the colour range, the whole is fantastic, and I'm just going to get my swatch here to have a look at it. Makes it a bit easier to talk about. That is not those pens. So yeah, there's a really good like range of colours here. I was really happy to see a lot of different greys. Sometimes sets can be really lacking in greys, but there's, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 greys, and then there's like a 7th one which is like a browny grey, and then your black. Loads of greens which I love. Really like excellent selection of purples, loads of pinks, some really nice like browns. Yeah, it's just a really, really good range of colours. I think the only thing that I would have liked to have seen is I think a couple of like lighter ones, and a darker grey. Like I would have liked a grey between the darkest one and the black. But again, minor things, and they're just preference. It's absolutely like nothing wrong with the set at all. And you can mix them if you're quick enough. You can blend. I did a bit of blending on this. You've probably seen it already. But yeah, they're an absolute joy to use. And I really cannot like praise this sort of pen a lot. I've been using acrylic markers for many years now, and I started with the standard Posca. So many of us start with Poscas. It's probably the first acrylic marker that you hear of. I mean, since I suppose when I first started using acrylic markers, basically it was Posca, Molotow, and not a lot else. There's a lot more, and they're quite expensive. So there's a lot more like more budget-friendly paint markers now, but they can be very, very hit and miss. But some of the more budget brands I've tried, which I'm not going to talk about because this is about Arrtx, are very good now. Arrtx, particularly these brush markers, I'd say are the most fun markers that I've used. Like I generally like, I don't really use my Poscas anymore. Yeah, I don't really use them. I much prefer, like I do like a bullet tip, and I really enjoyed using the Arrtx bullet tip ones. They were really, really good. They were nice feeling like nib to use. But I do prefer now the brush tip paint markers. You can just get like a more, I don't know, like a bullet tip is very like, for me, they're very bold lines and blocks of colour, and they're quite hard to get like a painterly effect with. But if you're going for like a pop art look, they're absolutely fantastic for that, and that's what I use a bullet tip for, and it's what I did when I tried out the bullet tip Arrtx markers. But what I really like about the brush markers is not only can you do that bold pop arty effect, you can get like different variation in lines. You can achieve like a painterly effect. They're just a lot more versatile, which is why I prefer them. But I do use both kinds. So yeah, I will come back to the markers themselves. I did want to talk about the artwork because I mean it's been on the screen for a while now. So yeah, I said before these two characters are from Final Fantasy VII. Now, the reason why I've done this artwork is Final Fantasy VII is not anime itself, but it's anime inspired. It's a JRPG, it's a Japanese role playing game, and it was the first. I don't know if it was the first, but it was the first JRPG to have huge success in the Western world. Apparently, it's had remakes recently, which are I could talk for hours about the whole of Final Fantasy compilation as a whole, but like the remakes are outstanding. I played the original game. The original game came out in 1997, which is when I played it, and I remember buying it because it was cheap. It was the cheapest game that my local supermarket had in stock, and I wanted to buy a new game. I bought it. I played it a little bit, and I was like, "What is this? I don't know about this." And I'd say within 4 hours, I was hooked. I've literally been obsessed with this game for 27 years. I talk about it regularly. And when they made the remake, they've made it into a 3-parter. The original game itself, because there's like other compilation like titles. There's books. There's a film called Advent Children. There's another game. But when they started remaking the original game, they split it. They've made it a trilogy. The first part came out during lockdown, or just before lockdown, in 2020. I cried. It was so good. I cried. It takes a lot to move me, but I was moved. But yeah, so basically a little bit. That is anyway. That is why I've decided to do this, because I love Final Fantasy VII. I love these pens. This is an anime box of pens. They're anime inspired colours, and this game is not anime but inspired by anime, like the art style of it. So I'm not going to give you too big of spoilers for the game because this is an art video, and you might not know the story and might want to play it. Do it, please play. So these two characters, this is Zack Fair. He is what is a soldier first class, which is basically there's like this army. They are part of the Shinra Electric Company Corporation. The first class soldiers are like the elite fighters basically. So he's basically like supposedly one of the most powerful in the world. He's not the most powerful. That's the great Sephiroth, the war hero Sephiroth, who my cat is named after. But yeah, and then I won't get too much away. He basically meets Aerith. This is 5 years before the main game. He meets Aerith. She's a flower girl, and they strike up a relationship. And stuff happens, and they're parted, and I won't go into all of that. Aerith is basically a mage, and she is from an ancient race called the Ancients, or the Cetra, or known as the Ancients, and they predated humans on Gaia, which is just Earth, really. And she's the last of her kind. So she's quite an important character. My voice is breaking up. I've been talking too much. Excuse me. But yeah, and I just wanted to. I've drawn Aerith a couple of times. I've never drawn Zack before, so as a new one, me. His hair was really hard to draw. It's just he has a lot of black on his outfit. I struggled. I'll be honest, I struggled with him. Aerith was a lot easier to do because she has some colour in her clothes. Zach's hair was an absolute nightmare, and you can see me in a minute struggling with his shoulder pauldron, whatever it's called. I'm not 100% happy with how he turned out. Like, I'm pretty happy with it, but yeah, I need to practice a bit more, I think. Yeah, it was a struggle, but I was overjoyed with how Aerith turned out. So I talk about the line work a little bit, but not very much, because basically I've always outlined in either brush pen or fine liner, and like more recently in the last few months, I've not really enjoyed how that looks anymore, and I really started to want to do my liner in pencil, and I've seen so many artists do it and just been admiring it and I think it looks amazing, but whenever I tried it, it just looked really bad. And it turns out like my colour pencils were too hard. Colour pencils don't like to go over alcohol markers, and then I found that actually through watching YouTube videos, watercolour pencils, so aquarelle pencils, go over paint marker a lot easier. So I invested in some Caran d'Ache, here they are, Museum Aquarelles, which are a dream. Still a little bit of work to get them to go over the paint marker, but they are the best I've used, and I'm really, really pleased how this line work looks. I did show a little bit of the line work, but because this is an Arrtx video, I didn't show too much of it. So if you're wondering why I've shown very little line work, that is my reasoning. And in other videos that aren't like for a brand, I probably would show more of that process, but you know, I'm trying out, the sole purpose of this video is to try out the Arrtx markers, so I didn't show too much of that other, but it's the only other supply I used, well, apart from the sketchbook, which is a Talon's Art Creation, fantastic mixed media sketchbook. But yeah, it's just, I had a lot of fun doing this, and it's actually the most ambitious piece I've done to date for a YouTube video. This took many hours to do. The editing took quite a long time compared to other videos. Do you know what, like, I'm doing all this shading here and I think it looks a lot better now, but I'm about to then cover that in black, so I wish I hadn't done that now, but never mind. Yeah, I absolutely loved like this. Like I really enjoyed it. I loved using the pens. Yeah, the only issue I found was like when I was doing him. This is what I mentioned earlier. I could have done with a darker grey. Yeah, I could have done with a darker grey, and that's about it really with it. They were an absolute joy. I'm not sure what else I can say really. I really rate these pens, and I'm very, very fortunate to well, for Arrtx to approach me and ask me if I would like to try their product, because like honestly, like it's a real privilege sometimes to do this and to for your art to be liked enough by, you know, companies that make art supplies, for them to want to like to send you stuff to try and to bring to like your audience as well. And I would be honest with you, like if I tried these pens and they were no good, I would tell you. Honestly, they're fantastic, and I've been singing the praises of these pens since I bought my set originally, you know, and I don't feel bound to like lie about a product because a brand sent it to me. I would tell you if they were no good, but they're not. They're fantastic, and I've been using them for my Pokemon challenge since this video. That's how much I like them. Yeah, I feel very fortunate and very thankful to Arrtx and other brands who will remain nameless that I've worked with recently, but you know, I'm always very, very grateful for if when they want to work with me, when they collaborate. It, you know, it's a nice feeling to know that like you're being noticed enough. And yeah, yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm just, yeah, I'm a bit overwhelmed, really. You know, and it's very, very kind of, you know, if you get samples of stuff like shampoo, you get a tiny little sample that barely does one hair wash, you know. But here is his boxes of pens, and these aren't sample sizes; these are the full product. So yeah, it's just amazing, and I'm so happy to share them with you. But yeah, it's just, I'm not sure what else, because I've just been prattling on. Back to the artwork. Those flowers took me, basically, yeah, so Arrtx is a flower girl. She grows these flowers in an abandoned church in the slums under the city, a city called Midgar, where she lives. And it's the only spot in the city that anything grows. So yeah, she grows these flowers and she sells them in the upper city where the more affluent people are. So that's why they're in there. And yeah, it took me less time to paint those 2 lilies than it did to do a block background, which you'll see in a minute, which I just think is really funny. I flew through those. I really enjoyed doing those. I should do more flowers. But yeah, look, she's so pretty. Oh, yeah, I was really happy with how she turned out. It's quite an emotional character. I'm not going to go into why, but they're tears. When you think of Arrtx, and if you know what happens in the game, you'll understand. Yeah, I'm just rambling now. Let's be honest. So back to the markers a little bit. If you are interested in these pens, I'm gonna, in the description there'll be links. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's multiple Amazon sites for different countries, maybe. I think there's a link to AliExpress. There's a link to Arrtx's own website. They retail at approximately £65 in English money. So do your conversions on that. For £65, you get 60 colours. So they're slightly over £1 a marker, which is really, really good value. Really good value considering the Poscas start at like £3. And the colours, you can see that, you know, how I'm not having to keep layer them. Some of these areas have got like 2 coats, some don't. That's Zach's sword. And another character sword, it gets passed on. But yeah, there's the set. Yeah, they're great value. They're fun to use. The colour range in this set particularly is amazing, and I've absolutely loved them. And that's all I have to say, which is 23 minutes so far of rambling. But I just wanted to say thank you again to Arrtx sending to me. I'm like overwhelmed with the kindness of the brand, and overwhelmed with the fact that they thought I was good enough to try their products and to bring them to you guys. And I wanted to thank you all for watching and sticking with me, because I'm a bit of a rambler. But yeah, great. I love this artwork. I'm really proud of this. But until next time, thank you for watching. Thank you, Arrtx, and see you soon. Bye.